Starlight is an official theme within the Astro ecosystem that streamlines the creation of technical documentation sites. Normally, maintaining these kinds of projects requires technical knowledge and working with code. At Content Island, we wanted to make it more accessible. We created a project template that integrates with Starlight and lets you edit documentation from a visual interface hassle-free. You can update content safely with role control and without needing a technical background. Do you want to see this new template in action? Let's create it from scratch. We will now navigate to Content Island and then proceed to click on the Add New Project button. Let's give this new project a suitable name, for example, MyDoc, and then choose the template option. Then we will click Next and then thoughtfully select the Starlight template from the available options. We click on Complete and our project is ready. By default, the Quick Start tab is activated, where we have the instructions to create our project locally. Let's go to Visual Studio Code. Here I have an empty folder open with no content, and we open a terminal. And we create the Starlight project. Do that, we copy command from Quick Start. npm create Astro at latest template Starlight. This command is the same one you can find on the official Starlight website. We come here, paste the command, hit enter, and it immediately starts creating our new Starlight project for us. It's going to ask us a series of questions. First, path. Since my.path empty, I tell it to use this location. Done. Let it run npm install, initialize a Git repository. This is copying. And soon we'll have the project created here. Now we already have the default structure of the Starlight project. Now it's installing the dependencies, then configuring it, and right after that we'll be able to run the project. The particular project that is going to run is indeed the default Starlight project. We still haven't connected it with Content Island. I'm going to pause it while it installs dependencies. When everything's ready, we'll continue. Well, look, just in time, we're done. I can check that this works by running an npm run dev. Let's reload. And here we have the default Starlight template. Now let's copy the second command, where we integrate the Content Island project with Starlight. To make things easier and not have to keep stopping the web server, what I'm going to do is open another terminal here, and I'll run the commands there. I'm going to make this smaller. I'll go to the second step, and here we have Content Island, the CLI that connects the project with the one we just created here. I copy it, come over here, and paste it. And it runs the command for me, downloads the whole folder, the documentation, and here the build gets updated. Let's see what we got. If we refresh, here's the Content Island sample project. We click on Get Started and we have the different pages. So far, so good. It copied the structure, and here I have my content with my sample project. Even the Astro config is here, along with my folder structure. This is good, but hey, what I really want is to have my own project documentation data. The Content Island one is very nice, but how can I now add my own data? Let's go back to Content Island and start by analyzing the model or structure that this template has generated for me. Here we have the page entity, which represents a documentation page. The folder entity, which represents a folder and in turn can contain a list of pages. And the root entity, which represents the root of the tree. It contains the main page as well as the list of folders. In this version, we support a first level of folders. There's one entity I haven't mentioned yet, and that's the meta entity. That's because normally we never have to touch it. It's internal information that contains the name of the template being used as well as its version. Normally, we never modify it. If we go to the Content tab, we can see that we have an instance of root. If we click Edit, we see that we have the file name and the list of folders. If we click back and filter by folders, you can see that we have two created, one for guides and another for others. And if we go inside a folder, you can see the name, the label that will appear in the documentation sidebar, as well as the pages that make up or are inside that folder. If we click back, for example on the others folder, we see that it has two pages. We go back, and for pages, it's similar. We select them. Here you have several that have been created. I like to put the folder prefix in the page name. That way it's easier to manage. And if we click Edit, you can see the file name, which can be MD or MDX, the label to identify it in the sidebar, and here the markdown or MDX of that file. Up to this point, so far so good, but I want to add the content of my documentation portal. Well, the best way to see how this works is by creating a real project. In this case, we're going to create a documentation portal for the open source tool Mondo Modeler. So, let's start by deleting everything we don't need. We'll keep the root instance, the index page, and the meta instance. We click back. And, for example, as for folders, for now I'm not going to use this one, so I'll delete it. If I go to Pages, I'm going to delete this one too. I'll keep the index one because I'm going to work on it. And I'll delete these others as well. So this is what I'm left with. With this setup, meta, root, and index. Now I want this content to be updated in my Visual Studio Code solution. How can I do that? Well, I go to Quick Start and here there's a command called Update. I copy it and run it in the terminal. I come over here. Remember, we had the server running here, and here we're going to run the update command. Let me make this a bit bigger. Check out the command, fpm create Content Island update. We run it, it updates everything, and here we can see that, well, if you hit start, it gives you a 404 because, of course, we deleted it. And if we go to the root, here I have the Container Island CLI, and from here we'll need to start creating more pages. The first thing I'm going to do is change this main page. So, let's go to the main page, to index, and I'm going to use a few things. I'll scroll up, and now the title isn't going to be Content Island CLI, it's going to be Mondo Modeler. For the description, well, I'm going to say that Mondo Modeler is a tool for designing databases. We come over here and paste it as well. Let's paste it. Alright, for the image, I'm going to change the Content Island one. I'm going to upload the Mondo Modeler logo. I come here to add files. Here I have the logo in SVG. I upload it and replace it. Here we are, file changed. I'm going to change the actions here as well, so that they point to the documentation, the pages I'm going to create, and also point to the Mondo Modeler website and the content as well. In this case, for the content, I'm going to add information about Mondo Modeler, an introduction to this project. Well, I have it ready here, so I'm going to replace this. And here it is. Perfect. I'm going to hit Publish. I'm going back to my Visual Studio, and here I'm going to say that I'm going to do another update. I run the update, it's already updated, and I come here and if I refresh, here it is. Mondo Modeler, my logo, and my new documentation. Now let's create the rest of the pages as well as the folder structure. So, here I go. To Content Island. I'm here in the Content tab and I'm going to tell it that I want to add a new folder that's going to be called Getting Started. And here the folder name is going to be Getting Started and the label Getting Started. For now, we won't add any pages. Later, when we create them, we'll add them. We publish it, and we're going to create another folder that we're going to call Import Export. Here, I'm going to set the folder name as Import Export, and here I'll also put Import Export. And again, for now, it doesn't have any pages. We publish. And an important point, I need to hang these folders under the root entity. So I click back, and now in root, I go to the folders section and say, well, the first folder will be Getting Started and the second will be Import Export. If I get the order wrong, I can always reorder them. I click Publish and now we have it ready. Now let's create the overview page, which will be under Getting Started. For that, we select Add New Content, Page. For the name, we'll call it Overview, and to make it a little easier to find the page or know which folder it belongs to, we're going to add a bit of information here. The name of the folder it belongs to, Getting Started. Next step, the file name, we'll say it's going to be Overview. And here, you can use the .md extension for Markdown or .mdx. We'll leave it as .mdx because we're going to use some Astro components. For the label, we're going to put Overview. And for the content, I already have it prepared here. I'm going to copy and paste it. It's the content of the overview page with its introduction and all that. We click Publish. And now this page. It needs to be under Getting Started. We go to the Getting Started folder. Click on it and tell it that it's going to have the Getting Started overview page. Let's go ahead and publish it. And we go to Visual Studio and run the update command again. We run it, everything gets updated. Let's go now. Let's go to Mondo Modeler, to the documentation portal. We click on Get Started and here we have our overview page, our two folders, and the page we created. Notice here there's a small mistake. Overview appears twice. Why? Because I put it in the title and also as an H1. So I'm going to come here and fix it. I'll say, okay, my overview page is here. I filter by pages, here's overview, and I'm going to remove this part here because it's already in the title. Great, that's done. We publish, and if we run an update again, now it's already fixed here. Now I'm going to create the rest of the pages. Since it's the same process, I'm going to pause and we'll check it out when everything's ready. We've now created all the pages and assigned them to their folders. For example, in the Getting Started folder, we have the Overview, Project, Collections, and Relations pages under it. And in the Import Export folder, the Export Model and Import Documents pages are under it. If we now do an update, we can currently see that all the pages now show up for our convenience. Now we have it all complete. And on top of that, depending on the plan you're on, you have support for multiple languages or you can have several users and roles. With this, you remove a barrier to entry for Starlight and allow non-technical users to make updates, plus your content is structured in a HCMS, so it's ready to be integrated into other projects if needed.